Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Joe Flash, and I'm back with another video, ladies and gentlemen. So I did say in my last video for voice comparison reaction that I was going to wait till tomorrow to do another video, but apparently I've lied. I was about to get ready to take a shower, but my mom beat me to it, so I'm just going to have to wait till she's done with her shower before I do mine. But it's okay. It doesn't matter who goes first and who doesn't. And plus, she's got go to work again tomorrow and then Wednesday and then that's it anyway, so it's no big deal. It's really no big deal who goes first and who doesn't, so it's okay. It's all right. I'm in no hurry at all. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna do another video until she's done with her shower, which I have plenty of time, and probably by the time I'm done with this video she's already gonna be out of the shower, or she'll probably be like way past already out of the shower, because this voice comparison reaction video, well, both of them, both Generation West and Behemoth 89's perspective videos for this character that I'll be doing, they're both short, but I make them pretty long because I have some things to say in the beginning of the video before I start reaction, and even during videos, I pause them and all that, so it could take longer, but I'll try not to do it as much as I did in my last video, you know what I'm saying? So for the next character, I will be doing, well, if you guys remember in my last video, I reacted to Scott Lang's Ant-Man voice comparison, so it's only fair enough that I was going to do him next, that I was going to do the man who was the previous Ant-Man before Scott Lang, that being the original Ant-Man, who has also been known as Giant Man, Hank Pym. Everybody's favorite Ant-Man. It's well enough to say that he's everybody's favorite Ant-Man. He's my favorite too. I still prefer Hank Pym over Scott Lang any day now. So while in Marvel nowadays, Hank Pym is retired, he's a former Ant-Man, and, sometimes he's Yellow Jacket, he still continues his superhero legacy. Other times he's retired, period, he's done being a hero, and then, Scott Lang is just continuing on the Ant-Man character and more like that. Whether, however, they decide to book it, Ant-Man still, or Hank Pym still continues to be an important character even when he's not Ant-Man, because even when former generations of heroes, while they may be retired, they still can play important roles even afterwards. They can still be utilized in a new way, you know what I mean? It's like, if some actors were to retire and then, their roles be taken over by somebody else. Or if, like, a wrestler who's retired in WWE was to retire and they still can be used on WWE as a former retired wrestler, and they could be part of other storylines, you know what I'm saying? They become general managers, Hall of Famers, much more like that, It's been like that for quite a number of years now, and it's always an interesting thing to see, so it's really cool. And, looking back at Hank Pym's career as his time during Ant-Man and Giant Man, it's always a great feeling just to remember what he used to do beforehand, and, his legacy will never be forgotten, no matter how many times they go by, and, no matter how many times Marvel starts using Scott Lang more often than Hank Pym. It's always a great feeling. So, Hank Pym is the next character I'll be doing next, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't mean for y'all to see that. I was just trying to, fix the video thing and all that. I was trying to, I don't know, fix the background picture, how I'm wanting this to appear in the background before I start this video, and apparently I thought I paused the video, but I didn't, and so y'all saw me messing with the screen. I'm sorry. That actually happened in my last video, if I'm not mistaken, with the Scott Lang Ant-Man voice comparison, or even it happened with Hawkeye, so I'm sorry about that. I'll try not to show that anymore. It was not my intention to do that. I was trying to pause it, but the video just wouldn't pause. So if that happens again in the near future, I'm probably just going to go to my CapCut app that I have that I use for text features. When I decide I want to use text features for videos, and all that, like I did with my Cards Against Humanity video and all that. I'm going to probably do that in the near future because, I just can't take it because I just don't want to keep making this mistake in every video, but I'm just going to ignore it. I'm just going to roll with it. So I'm sorry that I showed you all that. So Hank Pym, there's just really not much else to be said about him other than we just all know the story of him being the original Ant-Man and the original Giant Man. There's just really nothing else to say. He's an OG. He's the OG, man. And, there really is nothing else left to say. I mean, whether he's Ant-Man or Giant Man or even his alternate persona, Yellow Jacket, he still plays major roles in the Avengers, It's still a crazy story just knowing how apparently even, he wanted to fake his death, you know, when he was former Ant-Man, and, you know, then he became Yellow Jacket and faked his death before he was discovered he was still alive, you know, and all that. So it's a crazy story on just where he goes, where Hank goes to, whether he's Ant-Man or Giant Man or even Yellow Jacket. It's an interesting story. I mean, all the Marvel characters have interesting stories, whether if they're very useful or if they're not as useful or if some that are even underrated. You know, they all got some pretty cool stories in their own ways. So anyway, there's not much else to be said. I'm ready to go ahead and just get this video out of the way. So like usual, I will be checking out Generation West's video first, and then I'll go to Behelit89's channel and check his video out of Ant-Man Hank Pym voice comparison, so I can get to almost everybody that's featured in a voice comparison video, you know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and just get this out of the way, shall we? So like John Cena and Triple H always say, your time is up, my time is now, it's time to play the game. Let's go ahead and get into this, shall we? Ant-Man / Giant Man. Whatever you want to say, I mean, that's what the title of the video is. So, Ant-Man / Giant Man, Hank Pym, voice comparison in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. This ought to be a good one. Comparing the voices of Ant-Man, Giant Man, Hank Pym. Let me turn that heater off, I don't need it right now. It's cold outside, but it's not too bad in here for right now, so I can keep that heater off until then. Anyway. I missed that. I need to go back. I missed that completely. Let me go back to that.
Signals come from Anthony Stark's factory. Follow me. Through this door. The impulses are getting stronger. What? Thank heavens you're safe. He shall remain in limbo until
Maybe.
comes to replace
Maybe.
I've always thought it better that the Avengers avoid the spotlight. But it's hard to say no to the president. Of course, Jan. You deserve today. So did the others. Somehow, I'm just not sure I'm the one to lead you.
Sure.
I'm not exactly
Yeah, that's
Captain
good.
America, or Thor, or Iron Man. Now am I? Avengers, looks like we're going to meet the president sooner than we thought. Avengers, assemble!
Oh, wow, he said the line.
Hi, my name's Hank Pym.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, Hank Pym was in Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I forgot about that. He was in Ultimate Alliance, but he wasn't Ant-Man or Giant Man. Well, his character was Ant-Man. You just don't see him in the costume. Like, you don't get to play as him or see him in action. He's just a scientist, a doctor like he is, you know, just to help you out. But there is a point in time you will meet up with him, and then at some point when you're going on your next mission, he asks you if you could find his cybernetic helmet. Because, you know, that's the helmet because that's obviously his helmet he uses when he's Ant-Man. You know, he asks you if you could find his helmet, and if you are lucky enough to find the helmet while you're on your mission, you know, when you find it, you can return it to him when you head back to Stark Tower for like a resting area before your next mission. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'll still go ahead and give it a thumbs up, even though the voice was a little bit different. But I'll still go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It was not a bad inclusion of having Hank Pym in this game, Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Plus, that's a great game anyway. So.
Dr. Hank Pym, I've heard you're going to the Omega base. If you see my cybernetic helmet, could you bring
Yep, there it is. There's the line I was talking about.
A version of my cybernetic helmet that Captain America called and said you guys could use somebody with a little technical know-how. Hey, I'm glad to be helping out. Besides, I was getting bored working in the lab all day.
Hi there. Funny, I thought you'd all be taller.
Interesting design for Ant-Man in this. Fantastic Four, World's Greatest Heroes. Look at that.
My friend here told me that there were many
Looks like he came from the future. That's the way how that costume is.
Read 4 9 what? I can't hear you. Was that a
So that's a good voice though, still. So I'll go and give it a thumbs up. Thumbs up to John Payne.
What now? Read.
John Payne looks like he might have starred in a movie, just because looking at that picture, he looked like he starred in a movie, and apparently it looks like he's wearing a lab coat, like he was played a scientist himself, so kind of coincidental.
As I can shrink. What should I do?
So, Fury.
Oh,
You got in line to lead this
yes, of course.
Little green man.
The Ultimate Avengers films are great films. If you still have not seen the Ultimate Avengers films, you should check them out. And I did mention before in the past in some of my previous videos when I talked about Nolan North, about what my favorite voices are for him. You know, I mentioned that I love him as Superboy from Young Justice, the Krang from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Nickelodeon show in 2012, and I did also love him as Deadpool. And, you know, I did mention of some other roles that I remembered him being as, and Giant Man, Ant-Man, Hank Pym was one of them for the Ultimate Avengers film. So definitely a double thumbs up. For sure.
I'm gonna squish you.
What's all this about shrunken villains? It has to be one of Egghead's cheap dollar store knockoffs.
Didn't even know he was in Superhero Squad.
Checking out their vehicle leaves a faint trail. That's the way the quantum resonance scans.
Like I said, even though I don't like Superhero Squad show that much, but I'll still go ahead and give it a thumbs up.
Field Journal 0119.
Of course, you knew this was going to be on the list. Double thumbs up for sure. Wally Wingert, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, great, one of the best and greatest Avengers shows of all time, man. Never can go wrong with it. Really want to watch this whole entire series one day. I hope someday I can get all the DVDs, or maybe get, if there's a whole box, like a whole DVD collection of the whole entire series, I'd love to watch it all. Wow, Yuri Lorenzo?
Can't quite fit through the keyhole of this one. Come on,
Lorenzo, huh?
let's go, Queenie. Big pain comes from a small package.
That's hard to believe. Yuri Lorenzo
Don't worry,
being
I'm sure he
Hank
makes it
Pym.
all life. My hands. Come on, Bugs. Let's do this. Let's see how you like being small.
Yeah, I guess it's alright, sure. Of course, I love Yuri Lorenzo way more as Spider-Man, especially for that PS4 game, and I'm willing to bet to believe he will return voicing Peter Parker for the upcoming Spider-Man 2 game that's supposed to be released next year. You know, the Spider-Man 2 game that has both Miles Morales and Peter Parker in it. I'm pretty sure Yuri will be coming back voicing Peter for that game as well. That will always be my favorite role for him, because that PS4 game of Spider-Man, as I heard, was a fantastic game. I think it was on other systems too, but the PS4 was its most memorable system that it was on. I think probably the PS4 was probably the only system it was on. But I heard that was a fantastic game. Even the game they made afterwards, which was Spider-Man Spider-Man Miles Morales, which originally came out on the PS5 when the PS5 debuted, and then it went on to PS4. I heard that game was pretty good. Peter was in there in that game just for only cameo appearances, you know, and Yuri did voice him as well. The only thing that was a little bit off about Peter's appearance in Miles Morales' Spider-Man game was his face design was changed from the PS4 game, and then they decided to make a remastered version of the Spider-Man game with the new face design they gave Peter for the Miles Morales game. I'm curious to wonder if his face design is still going to look new, or if it's going to be the original face design that they gave him for PS4 in Spider-Man 2 or not. Curious to wonder about that. But I really feel that Marvel Spider-Man 2 for the PS4 or 5, whatever system it's going to be on, I feel like that's going to be a great game. People were going crazy over the trailer, especially when you got both Peter Parker and Miles Morales in it, and the fact that the main antagonist of the game will be Venom. It looks like it's going to be a fun game. People are just, you know, they can't wait, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that will always be my favorite voice for Yuri Lorenzo. But as Ant-Man, Hank Pym, he did alright. I know there was a few other Marvel superheroes he's done before too, but I can't remember anybody else other than Spider-Man. But anyway, continuing on. Oh, yeah. I almost forgot. How could I forget, man? It's just... I'm kind of barely starting to get used... You know, I'm barely trying to get used to seeing, you know, Hank Pym as an old man in the Marvel Universe, you know? Because this is probably the first and only time so far in the Marvel Universe where I've seen Hank Pym as a retired man, where he's older, and then, you know, he's just helping out Scott Lang, you know, giving him advice and all that, where he's just a retired hero and he's not even Yellow Jacket, you know what I'm saying? Like his alternate persona he created after Ant-Man and Giant Man, you know? So this is the only time I've ever seen Hank Pym as an old man so far, so I'm still, you know, trying to get used to it. But from his performance, from what I've seen, you know, in the Ant-Man movie and then in Ant-Man and the Wasp, I will still go ahead and give Michael Douglas a thumbs up. I know Michael Douglas has done some other movies. I can't think of anything else he's done because I don't really pay attention to his career, and I know that I haven't really seen anything else in Michael Douglas's career, but just for him being Hank Pym, like I said, I gotta give him a thumbs up because, you know, seeing him as an old man, Hank Pym, it's pretty interesting, and he's been doing pretty good, so yeah.
Eyes to become the hero that she already thinks you are.
That's my mom. Ignore
It's not
that.
about saving our world. It's about saving theirs.
Alright, so that's Alright, so that's all the people for Hank. So that's all the Hank Pym voices in Generation West video. Before I end off the video, let's head over to Behemoth89's video. So here we are. Let's go ahead and find out who is in here in Behemoth89's Ant-Man Hank Pym voice comparison video and rank them as well, along with everybody else that was in Generation West. Anyway, let me see if I can get this to work. Hold on, let me see. Sometimes this thing doesn't want to work sometimes. Made it to him. We already did him. Already did him. Oh, okay, so there was another guy, apparently. So there was some... Let's do him real quick, then.
Could have just opened it. You should make an appointment then. Contact Jack.
Out of my way. Great big uppercut. Here comes the big boot.
I'm gonna have to say maybe. I'm not too sure about that one. Whoever that guy was that voiced him. Okay, so... Is there anybody else? Okay, it seems that everybody else is... That was not... So everybody else that I'm seeing at the end of the last three guys I'm seeing, apparently we're not in Generation West's video. So let's get to those three guys, and then that'll be it.
Keyhole this one.
Well, Scott, you may keep the suit, but in return, I have a job for you.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, apparently in this Pineball game, whatever this is, apparently it looks like they went with Michael Douglas's old man Hank Pym, as you can see from that design in the game. Interesting.
We must protect the technology from falling into the wrong hands.
I gotta hear that again. I wasn't really paying
Return, I
attention.
have a job.
Let me go back to that. I wasn't really paying attention. I'm sorry.
Through the keyhole this one.
Not that anybody really cares about that Pineball game anyway.
Well, Scott, you may keep the suit, but in return, I have a job for you.
Yeah, I know. We must protect the
Yeah,
technology
sure. That was
from
alright.
falling into the wrong
That
hands.
was alright. That worked.
You have to stop Egghead from developing his new photon bomb for the Masters of Evil. I've located...
That is kind of a weird design for old man Hank Pym. He looks more like General Ross, honestly. He kind of looks more like General Ross. I just have to be completely honest. I was gonna say Commissioner Gordon, but that would be kind of a lie. I think he looks more like General Ross, honestly, but... whatever.
Are you eating soup? No. That's a new suit, so be careful. It hasn't been feel good.
Well, that's reassuring.
Are you ready to be destroyed today?
Egghead! No, I'm in the middle of lunch.
I don't know if the voice really works with his old man persona, so maybe a maybe for that. Just gonna have to say maybe. Oh yeah, and you can play as yeah, even though Scott Lang is the one that's in this game, but you can play as Hank Pym's Ant-Man in Lego Marvel Super Heroes 2. I did unlock him in the game, so what does he say?
I mean, Yellow Jacket? Can't we just talk this out? No deal, Simon. This mansion isn't big enough for two Hank Pyms. Either he goes, or I take you all down. Well, I guess you don't leave us much choice. Boy, I could use a superhero right now.
Oh, that was Stan Lee's. That was weird they continued on with that, even though he wasn't speaking anymore. But I guess I'll give that one a maybe, too. I'm not really too feeling for that one either, so maybe on that, too. Even though I love Lego Marvel Super Heroes 2, that was much better than the first one. But anyway, never mind. Alright, so that's everybody, obviously. But yeah, I do kind of forget that you do have to rescue Stan Lee in there. I think it was also done in Lego Marvel Super Heroes 1 as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you can rescue Stan Lee, you know, and you get some extra points and stuff. It's pretty cool. Man, it's so hard to believe it's already been like probably about, I think he passed away yeah, he passed away in late 2018, so it's hard to believe it's almost been about, it's been like 4 years now since we lost Stan Lee. It's Hard to believe 4 years have already gone by so fast since Stan Lee's death acquired. It's really so hard to believe, like, just too hard to believe, you know what I'm saying? Already been 4 years without Stan Lee, man. But hopefully he's doing okay up there in heaven. I mean, R.I.P. Stan Lee, man. I hope he's doing okay up in there. And it's even nice that, you know, he's already been reunited with his wife, since his wife was, you know, already passed away, like, I think not too long ago before he died, I think, so it's great knowing that him and his wife are back together, you know. Anyway, so that was everybody, ladies and gentlemen. So when it comes down to it, well, even though Michael Douglas is the only live-action Hank Pym we've had so far, but the fact he's old man Hank Pym, look, I liked him. I gave him a thumbs up, but I don't know if I really want to put him up there as my favorites, because I'm not really quite used to old man Hank Pym yet, so I have to take a rain check on if I will put Michael Douglas up there as my favorites or not. So it's a rain check for him for right now, because I'm really not quite used to old man Hank Pym yet, so I gotta pass on that, you know what I mean? But nevertheless, he still does okay, but I can't really officially put Michael Douglas up there as my favorite so far yet. So pretty much by far, when it just comes down to everybody else, though, for animated-wise, video game-wise, it's obviously going to have to be Nolan North. I mean, look, I need to shrink it so I can see. Nolan North, Wally Wingert. That's probably just about it. That's just about it. Wally Wingert and Nolan North. They're probably my only two favorites I have for Hank Pym. So yeah, it's only just them two. So yeah, not another big list of favorites as well. So it's only two for Ant-Man Hank Pym, ladies and gentlemen. Nolan North and Wally Wingert. It's just those two that I love as Ant-Man Hank Pym. Nolan North for Ultimate Avengers and Wally Wingert for Earth's Mightiest Heroes Avengers. That's it. Just like pretty much it was like that in my last video too. You know, I pretty much only had a short list as well. I think I only had 3 if I'm not mistaken in my last one with Scott Lang's Ant-Man, and this one I only had 2. If I would have been more used to Michael Douglas's Hank Pym, you know, him being an old man, I would have had him on my list and that could have made 3, but like I said, I'm not quite used to old man Hank Pym yet, so I have to take a rain check on him for now until then. So it's just Wally Wingert and Nolan North for right now. Just only 2. So now that that's been determined, now that y'all got my votes and my picks, now it's time for y'all to vote and pick down in the comments down below, letting me know, and even start a conversation on who you love now as Hank Pym, or the original Ant-Man / Giant Man Hank Pym. Who do you love as Hank Pym? And don't forget to share this with your friends so you can get their opinions as well. I definitely love to see, you know, who's the favorite for Hank Pym, the original Ant-Man and Giant Man. And if you even like to, you can even leave a comment down below on how you feel about Michael Douglas's Hank Pym as well, because if you're just like me, if you're not quite used to old man Hank Pym, don't be afraid to share that in the comments down below if you agree with me that you're not quite used to old man Hank Pym either, because I really ain't. But yeah, I mean, everybody's got different opinions, you know, it's always great, even though, of course, you know, we are probably going to start seeing more old man Hank Pym in the future, because he's already retired, but you know, I'm just not used to it yet. It's just me personally. I mean, there's probably other people that aren't either, but yeah, I just really haven't been a big fan of, like, seeing him as an old man yet, you know. Obviously, it's already time, you know, time has already passed on. His time as Ant-Man's already passed on, so, you know, he's already retired, but I'm just still barely getting used to Hank Pym as a retired Ant-Man and a retired superhero and just being an old man, so it'll probably be a little bit more time, you know. I don't know how long it'll take, but it'll probably be maybe a few years more before I might even get used to it. You know, who knows? I may not ever get used to it. I don't know, but I'll get used to it at some point. It's just probably going to take a long time, you know what I mean? But that's all I got left to say. So now that that's out of the way, and obviously now that my mom's already out of the shower, I'm going to go ahead and take my shower. So until then, I think I should be able to have more time tomorrow. So tomorrow I shall make some more voice comparison reaction videos to more Marvel characters, and I don't know how many I'll do, but I'll try to do as many as I can while I can tomorrow. I should be able to guarantee to do tomorrow, because like I said, I have hardly anything else to do, so I don't see why I can't do these videos. And plus, I'm off for 3 whole weeks for this break, so I got plenty of time. So I got this whole entire break, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go ahead and start taking my shower and wrap it up, and I'll be back tomorrow. Stay tuned for my next video to find out who I'll do next for a voice comparison reaction video in the Marvel characters. But until then, I'm out of here, y'all, so I hope you had a good one. So that'll be it for today, guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Dislike it, give it a thumbs down. Join me next time for the next video. To all you boys, men, and guys out there, fist bumps go to all of you. To all the girls, ladies, and women out there, mwah. Kisses go out to all of you. But until then, this is Joe Flash signing off, and have a good day.